Alright, this is a film to review construction drawing KrbDRM3 I wanted to cover a few items with regard to those drawings, as well as review some optional exterior enhancements. Some of them are optional, some will probably be were ultimately worked into the plan already anyway. But you haven't seen those, so I wanted to review those with you or via this film. One thing I didn't talk about any time during the whole process was in the basement. As nice as this whole finished area is here, and we're improving the stairwell transition, it's probably a good idea to, at least if it's something that you wanted or thinking about, it's probably a good idea to review the possibility of getting some sort of half bath down at this level. The trip to the bathroom has now become longer because now you no longer go up the stairs and cut back and through into this bathroom, but you have to come all the way out here to where the new bathroom is on the second floor or first floor. So this is very quick and easy. You have a plumbing stack down there already. The plumbers are going to be there. They're going to open up this floor at some point. I'm thinking the sewer probably goes out to the street this way rather than back toward the ball field. So the plumbers are going to be there. The concrete's going to be getting opened up. If you don't need this room for other uses, it's probably the great idea, and you probably would recover nearly all the money taken to put in a half bath down at that level. The way I've done it is the simplest and most straightforward way, a pocket door, because there's no real way to open a door and get around it unless you have it open outward. Toilet on this side, small sink on this side. I've built a platform here because you still have to come down 2 risers to get down to this area. So I've built a platform here so the refrigerator can be put up here, and just kind of integrated that platform with whatever we do to capture the laundry chute from the north half of the second floor. At the first floor, I just wanted to cover something with regard to the kitchen. This ASD means assumed. I think we assume that these joists are going this way. I think that's probably a fairly reliable assumption. And so this whole framing situation is put together. All of those stay in place really and are just suspended on this new beam here. At this area of the kitchen, though, I have assumed preliminarily that these joists are running this way, north and south, which would be good because we need to get an exhaust duct, an 8-inch exhaust duct from this hood here to the outside of the building. This assumption of this orientation of these joists is largely based on the idea this is that second floor toilet here, and there is a stack in this wall. This wall is also a 6-inch wall, indicating all indicators that a plumbing stack comes down through that wall, which led to my decision to assume that these joists are running this way, north and south. If they are not, however, something will have to be altered in order to get that exhaust in here. I've reviewed alternative locations for it, and there's no other way to bring it. We can't get it across this hall and up into that linen closet. It's too thick. It's an 8-inch duct. Even if you went down to a square, it's a 16-inch thing, and there's just no way to get it over south and into that linen closet. Additionally, it can't travel this way because as soon as it gets, I suppose there's a chance it could travel this way and then out this way, and I don't know where it dumps, whether it dumps straight down then. That's probably also a more remote possibility that the duct, if the joists are running this way, the duct can come over in this way. But I think what should probably be banked upon, if those joists are indeed running east and west, is that those will have to be interrupted, and we'll have to have a couple single LVLs coming through here with the legs of the joists on either side suspended at those to create this pathway for an exhaust 8-inch duct from this range hood and out. This one here increases from 2 of those, which is what's required now and shown on the plans. If we have to suspend additional joists here, that has to go to 3. So the upshot of this is you're definitely going to get 3 more LVLs, 16 or 17 foot LVLs, to handle this in the event those joists are running this way, as well as the hangers for them. But this is a little diagram I put together in the event this happens. This is the alteration that will be sent over to the jurisdiction. This is that toilet, the new toilet on the 2nd floor, and either you create a 14.5 inch wide typical joist space and you have your 8-inch duct running through that, and beside that the 4-inch stack from the toilet coming over here and dropping down the wall. In the event that doesn't work, then maybe the joist space is created just for the range hood exhaust, which comes through here, and then the plumbing continues this way and out, and we would have to lower the ceiling here to make the drop and get into this arched area here. We can't know any of that though until that floor's opened up or the ceiling's opened up and we know exactly which way those joists are running up there. Ideally they are running north-south. That would be the best situation. This was just, looking at trying to get the duct up into this closet wall. It really can't be done. There's no, this is shown as a 14, but you really need a 16-inch. And I suppose there's a chance it could be done. Maybe once everything's opened, it's easier to see. But I would bank on that not being a possibility. So I think, probably this is the way to count upon. The next thing that nothing was actually said about or done about, well, someone mentioned it, one of you mentioned it at the one meeting with regard to this hot tub, and it's kind of, particularly with the new screen porch structure right here and this big long stairs, it's kind of incongruous right here, so I'm not sure whether perhaps during this construction you might want to consider some slight relocation of that hot tub to kind of interface better with what we've got going here. Here's the hot tub and you're just coming down these stairs, and maybe these stairs are actually shortened to here. I should have shown this, but and then there's just a set of stairs right here, and this becomes pathway, but it's still tight through here. You can't open this gate here, and maybe that's by design, which is fine. But I thought we ought to at least mention whether or not some consideration toward a relocation of that. Maybe this is all just pavered off to keep it from getting too much of a mud hole back here. In this situation, you create a separate little private hangout area here with the hot tub up down south, or some, whether it's some sort of thing that, or some consideration toward the orientation of that hot tub with regard to the new structure. And there's this, maybe this is probably the least intensive of the alternatives. We just make these screen panels. This is just a single set of stairs like what exists now practically. But then this provides that same, good 2'8" or so clearance in through here, which I think is probably going to interface better with the new structure. This arrives as a significant change that was made from the time of our meeting, our last design review meeting, and the actual final construction drawings. Originally, these gable roofs were set up this way, and we had one plain roof that came almost up to the ridge and came down so far to here. It comes down at the same rate all the way to the gutter here, but on this side it came down so far, and then there was a break and its slope increased here. I thought during construction drawing preparation that was probably not the way to go, that it was problematic on a number of fronts, including appearance from the ground. It just felt like it was going to be an error that I didn't want to look at down the road, so I've changed that some, and I've brought the break line down to the peak of this bedroom 5 gable here. Now these are two different pitches, slightly. This is 2 and this is maybe just a touch more than 2 because this ends back further. But it's a better situation than where we were before. It's 2, which is the manufacturer minimum for shingles. You do have to put ice and water shield over that entire roof plane will have to be ice and water shielded, which that applied even when it was here because it was still just at a 3/12 pitch. So I've dropped that down to this location here, and whether that's done in metal roofing or asphalt or fiberglass shingles is up to you guys. But so this is what it is. You really can't see it from the ground close to the building to any extent, but presumably you can see it from across the field or backed up far enough. And this, according to my camera settings, this is how it would appear from out in the field, far enough back. So are definitely going to be able. People are definitely going to be able to see that, and that's one of the reasons I dropped it. So we got rid of this funky kink in the roof structure, and you see that a little bit more on one of these. That's where it used to be like that. You can just pick it up there, but it's obviously a problem. So that was not well considered in the first place and has now been eliminated in favor of something more organic or whatever. So that can be shingles or racine metal. I just showed a random color. Same with your house. I mean, I'm just showing it in the same kind of brown or cream theme. But again, you can't really see it from the ground up close, but you are going to be able to see it presumably from across the field. I can't imagine you wouldn't be able to. This brings us to the exterior treatments and alterations and optional accoutrements. And some of these have impacts on the floor plan inside. Additionally, there's additional floor plan stuff at the second floor that I need to cover with you with regard to the closets at bedroom 4 and the entrance to bedroom 4, the bathrooms, etc. So what this will do is just run through these various views and the changes, and then once I've gone around the house and shown those, then we'll go to the floor plan and show the impacts at the floor plan and the alternative treatments at the floor plan with regard to one or more of these various exterior changes. So this was the existing structure, and this is where we were when we got ready to draw the construction drawings. I'll try not to belabor this too long. Okay, and so the first changes at the alignment of this bracketing here, and getting rid of this butchering of this architrave over this porch. Like this, where we add a traditional architrave, limit the siding to where it belongs, and move these brackets out to make more sense with the structure. Like those two. Then, once I figured out we were replacing all the siding, I did change this gable vent here to match these others here, which are round. These are just standard 18-inch round vinyl vents. I've added some molding at the cornice here. This molding kind of exists out here at points, but it's been added in here at these gable rakes. And then whether or not we have a belt course or whatever you want to call this thing around here, I think it's kind of, the cost is very similar and you're still buying product to cover that area. So I'm showing that. I think it's a much better look than this, depending on what you're looking for. So that's added there, and that continues at this projection here as well, and you'll see this in the other photos as well. And next is whether or not you had a little bump out here in that bedroom 4. I think there's too many windows there, so maybe if that happens, it's like this. And that goes back into it. You'll see this on the floor plan. And finally, if you look closely or if you pay attention, there's an option to bring this master bedroom cantilever it out like these two cantilever here, cantilever that out and pick up an extra 2 foot or 2'2" inside the bedroom. And that would apply regardless of whether this piece happens here or not, like this. I'll go back through these. Like that. Okay, and then if we come over, hold on, I guess, so yeah, any of these can be mixed and matched together. This probably has all of the options available that I've drawn here, and there's one more where instead of that being a walk-in kind of bay, it's lifted up, and maybe it's not lifted quite so high, maybe it's a little bit lower or a little bit higher, but then this becomes like a 12-inch deep shelf in that room, so that beds could be put in front of it, etc. Now from this side, this is our existing view, and those same changes, this is just going to run through the very same changes. I'm not going to re-explain them each time. Here's the belt course being added here. And this is with the bedroom projection, adding 2 feet to that bedroom. And this was just a quick look at how to get the spout down. And I also pushed this out another couple inches so it has the same kind of overhang from the bracketing. And kind of adjusted the stuff at this facade here as well. Finally, whether or not, you can see I have this divided into 3 lights, and probably all of these small windows here. And if you're going to eliminate these windows, I guess I'd start with, I don't know which ones I'd start with, but I think it's nice to have 2 different views. It's nice to have the east sun come in earlier than it would otherwise. But I think they look better with some little vertical divisions. Alright, and from this side, here we go with this front end, and this is where we talked about trying to, you had mentioned in a phone message, trying to add some enhancement to that. Obviously, this is the existing structure here. And getting rid of the siding at that architrave, and then there's the addition added at the last, without the projection. If you wanted to, you could add this dormer, or just expand that dormer like this to add some presence and some scaling at the curb, and that has definite impacts at the 2nd floor, obviously, at our whole floor plan up there in the master suite. And then you can see this is where I add some of this molding. Some of this probably exists, who knows, but in any case it ought to exist. You can see it happening here in particular, and probably up here, and maybe at these facades here. This is just a quick experimentation with the windows, getting them where they'll work with the 2nd floor plan. And maybe a window box goes in underneath that where we've closed off that entry door. And this is where you can also see the projection of the master bedroom if we pick up that extra 2 feet going out that way. This just adds the 3 vertical, which I think that's the way to go. If we keep these windows here, probably divide those vertically. This is a quick front end view. These skylights will be covered here. You can't really see them, but you definitely see them from front on, so they exist. This is the maximum skylight, skylighting here, and you'll see how and why that happens, or why it's suggested. And then there's just, I don't even know what some of these are, but there's the window box added. So I've done what I could with that front end without getting crazy and bringing this ridge up here, etc., etc. This is the final angle. There's the existing view. And this was at drawing time. We add the dormer if we wanted to. And some moldings and the planter box, etc. And I think it looks pretty decent. And there's, okay, so that's without the belt. I kind of, I can go either way on having that belt coursing through here. Either way, really. Particularly from this angle. I think from the back it looks better with that on, but this angle, I think it's a wash. This next move, what this next move does is increases these window heads, all of these lintel style window heads, increases their height a little bit, and obviously they would have a little rain cap on them anyway, so that adds a little more definition at those window heads. And also you can see that I've changed the door as well, since all that aluminum would go, presumably that would all be Miratech or Hardy or whatever product, but I've changed the door as well, and its color as well to the white like all the rest. And some more of these. This was that side projection from this angle. And the last move, I think, increases the size of these windows, which I think is fine and ought to be done. Yeah, I don't think that's a problem there. I'm sorry about some of the lighting changes, but so that's the spin around on that. This brings us to how some of those exterior options impact the floor plan at the second floor. Nothing really happens at the first floor, but at the second floor there are obvious impacts. This is the construction drawing shown floor plan of the master bedroom, master bath, and walk-in closet suite. And once we widen this out, if you did do that front dormer, you begin with a slate like this, and I'm not going to belabor this. You can go through this film slow if you like. I did my best to keep the master bath down here, not that that was what should be done, because I ultimately arrived at a different alternative, but going in I kept the master bath down here, and there's so much space there. We really can't bring this wall much further back if we want a door into here. This commode is already pushed north as far as it can, given our ceiling clearance here, which means if we want a door from the bathroom, it stays here, which means this wall stays here. So we have all of this space, and I'm just gonna, that's just crazy tall cabinetry, which is just silly. These are tall linen cabinets. The vanities all kept in place. The tub shower is kept where it is. Dressing table over here, this is kind of garbage, but I think, and you can just see, I don't know whether you have a divan up here or other furniture. This begins, and frankly I think probably you should try to endeavor to have a shower in the house of this scale and a master suite of this scale. It's probably a good idea to try to have a shower as well. And so this was another alternative where I'm showing the vanities on either side. These are kind of furniture style vanities that have a gap here at the end. I'm still showing this dressing table here, tall cabinetry here with a shower, a good shower here. And then this tub is not a tub shower. I mean, it can be, but it doesn't really need to be. I mean, maybe it's freestanding. In any case, I was just trying to, once that dormer was put in, what can we do with the bath here? And this is where I kind of got to on that. And that could probably work. That's probably not bad at all things considered. But really, once that space is created, it probably makes the most sense, particularly since you really didn't want a separate shower anyway. It probably makes the most sense to give that space over to the walk-in closet. It's very nice. The north windows, you don't have to worry about clothing fading or the place heating up from the sun, etc. This increases this closet space, the viable hang space in this closet, from 19 to 31, so about a 50% increase in closet space. And plus, I like the bath located near the hall, and you didn't want a full shower in the bath in addition to a tub anyway. So I think if you do add this wide dormer out here at the front end for the enhancement at that end, that's the way to go, is to put the closet in here and the bath up here. Now there are a variety of bathrooms I'm showing. Any of them will work. Some of them have different things that may work better for you. This was the first one I put together. It has a lot of cabinetry, really deep cabinetry for linen and toiletry, even though you already have a linen closet here and closet here. It is available. The toilet does not change throughout them because that's where it has to be in order to get the plumbing down to the basement. In this one, it's 7-foot vanity, which is a nice, generous vanity space. You could have medicine cabinets here if you wanted to. I showed the little dressing table because there's not a lot else, considering we've got all the cabinetry we need over here. There's not a lot else to use for this space here, so if you wanted a dressing table, a little built-in kind of dressing table, you could have it right there. Now, some of these, I would think that you would probably go ahead and have the door up at that end here, because it doesn't interfere with anything, and it gives you the option to get into this bathroom from either location or the third location here. This flips it. I actually like it like this, but you might want to flip it, particularly even this tub can be any size in terms of length that you want it to, and these just show, you know, that tub extending. I don't think, if you wanted to get a 6-foot tub, you might have to decrease the depth of these vanities to 21 instead of 24. There might be some more squeezing here or there, but it's probably doable if you want a 6-foot tub, particularly if we can find a 6-foot tub that's only 32 inches wide. What I found is that most of the 6-foot tubs were 36 inches wide. But these are showing 66. This is a standard 6-foot or 5-foot tub here. Some of these others are showing 5.5 foot. 5.5 foot. It can even be pushed out further with seat and shelves back here if you wanted. There's plenty of room for towel bars in this bath. Notice that I do continue to show a window here because a bathroom without a window is going to really denigrate the bath space, dreariness. So, and again, this is another north window, essentially. It rises up out of this wall with the, I guess it probably be able to see, you'd definitely be able to see out the trees. I don't know if you could see down the roof slope, but certainly no one could see into anything significant. Finally, if you wanted to consider a private toilet room, that's available as well. Elimination of the dressing table, at least there. I guess you could have a dressing table here if you wanted it. Probably have enough space for toiletry and so forth elsewhere. And in this one that I'm showing, the private toilet room, I show, certainly this skylight is the more critical of the one to get light into this. And it's nice that this light, this skylight would bring that same nice even northern light all the way into this inner hall, which is going to be dark, and there's no way to get any kind of light to that either except from this window. So those are the various, closet space doesn't change, the vanity, this bathroom space, those were just some various alternatives on that. That brings us to the next thing. I think I included this skylight in the construction drawings. If I did not, it ought to be there. This bathroom with no natural light, again, it's severely denigrated without that natural light, so even if there's just a solar tube dropped in from the roof, it ought to be done. Some sort of natural light ought to be gotten into this bathroom. The roof structure lends itself to a 30-inch skylight that I'm showing. This is kind of short, it's only 30 by 30, but at the ceiling level the well becomes something like this here. Additionally, if you want to, this one is the more critical of these two. This is the more critical one to endeavor to get into the plan and get into the building. This is just an extra one. Again, the roof slope still goes up. It still can be picked up in that existing rear roof plane. It's a south facing, so there's some heat gain, although some shading. They have various shading options. Some are automatic that just come on when it gets so bright, etc. But those are two more things to consider with regard to this bath and this hallway up here. Additionally, the low slope of this roof back here means that these wells would not be overly tall. So I kind of like, this one's probably the priority, getting some sort of natural light into that bathroom. It changes the whole complexion of a bath. But this is also very nice here, lighting up this entire hall, which is going to be otherwise dark. There's not going to be any light coming from this bathroom unless we have the skylight, and then not much. So this is, should be taken under serious consideration. Next, I think we move into these, and one of my reasons for reluctance is to change this in the first place was fire considerations and pathway to the bedroom. It should be the shortest pathway from the egress path, which is down these stairs. This is not that much different. There's a little kink here. So, but in any case, it deserved to be reviewed. And so if we did want to change that and go down to a single vanity here, the thing I don't like about this is just how much it compacts this bathroom. It's fine, it works, etc. And if that works for you, then that's the way to go. But that shows you the impact. There's no other place for the door but here. You have to close it to get to the shower, which is not a big deal either. Now, there's a lot of different options here, and I apologize for that. And you'll just have to review them at your own speed and in your own time. The first thing I did, though, is change these closets, because it seemed to me that the entrance, that this one in this bedroom, because it's smaller, that the entrance to that closet ought to be shifted that way, so there's an option for furniture back here, etc. So I flipped those around where this one's accessed from this end and this one's accessed from here. This is the first permutation with the door into here. It's huge closet, additional huge closet in addition to that one here. If we shift it down around, we put that closet up and still have the door come in there. And that closet can either front on the hall or become an additional one for that bedroom. Some of this is just not, I'm not going to go over and over with it. Those are deep closets. So I don't know if they get clogged up with stuff in front of them and whether that's a waste of space. Now I'm just decreasing them in standard closet depth, like this one and this one are here, where it's 2 foot deep, finished inside. And then I create a little desk area. I don't even know if this sort of thing is done anymore, but this is a little piece of furniture area or desk area here. And you've increased, even doing this, you increase the closet, the viable hang space from that 5 or 6 feet to something closer to 8. Still with the smaller bathroom here, the door here, and an additional closet out into the hall. Or you get rid of those little nooks and then you have a lot of closet. I think that's probably more closet than either of these bedrooms would require. But in any case, the ground is covered. This might be the best, and then going back this way, this might be, I think this is probably the better arrangement. I would maintain, even if you didn't maintain double sinks in here, I would maintain this, and I left this door, obviously that would go away, but I would maintain the space in this bathroom This, I think, does everything that a person's looking for. Still increases the closet space in these rooms. These are big 6-foot doors, double doors. So that is some of the things. Here, the next change that happens then is at the master bedroom, and here is that if we wanted to cantilever that and pick up that extra 2 feet in the master bedroom, we go from 18 by 17 to 18 by 19. I still think 18 by 17 is a pretty substantial master bedroom, but certainly this one's even more gracious and large. And so this asymmetry might bother you. So the first, if I was going to begin to eliminate windows, this would be the first one to go, and maybe that's the second one. I kind of like maintaining these, particularly this one, into the dark, otherwise darkened shower. And that really should just be glass block. I know you don't like it, but maybe fiberglass with obscure glass. I hate to have left that door in there, but just ignore that, please. I think this, okay, so then the only final thing is then this bump out into here, that little bump on the west side. And you can see its impact here. This is a twin bed or a double, that's a queen, with just the mattress size. Or lift it up like this, and then this just becomes a shelf here. It would provide a lot of place for action figures or whatever kids are into these days. And that's, if this were to become someone else's big bedroom, that's a queen bed in front of that there. And I think that should wrap it up. I know this is really kind of haphazard, but there it is.